Hi guys. Okay, so we're on to Latin, week 13. So we're going to do our recitations first. I'll switch the camera around so you can see that. What I want you to remember, because we have blue books coming up for Latin, I'm going to have you, I'm going to ask you for the I'm going to ask you for the attributes. There's 6 of them, 6 attributes of a Latin noun. I'm going to ask you for that. And then, 6 attributes of a Latin verb, not noun, a verb. And then you're going to have the conjugation endings. You're going to know the principal parts and the declensions. You're going to decline a verb in each of the 5, decline a noun in each of the 5 declensions. So it's really kind of what I go over in our recitations each week. So we'll go over those quickly, and then you'll just, in the blue book, you'll just be giving me as much as you can remember of all of that. We want to have as much of Henley that we can down before we go to Challenge B, because you'll repeat this part, so it'll just be a real quick review for you and just kind of hammer those home. But as much as you can master this year, much easier it will be next year. And then we are almost to the end of what we do in Challenge A in Henley. We're on our last piece this week, and then next week we'll work on just translating a paragraph together. So okay, so let's start drilling with our Latin grammar. So let me switch the camera around. Okay, here we go. Conjugations. So this right here is what I'm asking for in your blue book. 6 attributes of a Latin verb. So every Latin verb is going to have these 6. So there's what conjugation are they? What person is it? What number is it? What tense is it? What voice is it in? And what mood is it in? All right. So let's go into the Latin tenses. We have the present system and the perfect system, the 2 systems of Latin verbs. In the present system, we have 3 tenses: present tense, imperfect tense, future tense. In the perfect system, we have perfect tense, pluperfect tense, future perfect tense. We're going to talk about these 2 today, the pluperfect tense and the future perfect tense. Whoops, sorry. All right, let's go to the present tense. Let's do the endings for the present tense. O-S-T, mus, tis, int. I want you saying these with me, okay? So the present tense is a current action, and we find the stem using the second principal part. We drop the RE off of it, and then we add these endings. All right, let's go to imperfect tense. This is a not finished, ongoing, repeated, or interrupted past action. And when we translate, we're going to use the helping verbs was and were, and then our verb most likely will have an ing ending in English. All right, so the endings, say them with me for the imperfect tense. Bam, bas, bat, bamus, batis, bant. All right, so again, because it's in the present system, we drop the RE from the second principal part. If you look it up there, it's ARE in first conjugation. Second conjugation, it's ERE, so we just drop the RE in that second principal part. We find the stem, and then we add this if it's falling in imperfect tense. Okay, future tense. This is going to describe an action that will happen in the future. It will use when we translate that English helping verb will. Okay, so we find our stem by dropping the RE from the second principal part, and then we add these endings for the future. Bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, bunt. All right, so that is our present system. Let's go into our perfect system. We have 3 tenses in our perfect system. Let's talk about perfect tense. So this describes a one-time action completed in the past. Okay, so because perfect means completed. So we use the English helping verbs has and have, depending if it's I have, he has. So depending on what pronoun you're using in the person, first person, second person, or third person will depend if you're using have or has. Okay, you can also use did. He has called. He did call. He called. It could be ed. All of those actually represent a correct translation in English, but we use have and has typically as a rule when we translate with English to English. Okay, so the perfect in the perfect system, we find this stem by, we then go, in the present system, we did the second principal part, and we dropped the RE. In the perfect system, we drop the I off the third principal part. Now, this is the first conjugation principal parts here, but you'll have an I in the other two conjugations in third and fourth, or second, third, and fourth in the three conjugations, and you drop that I from the third principal part to find the stem. So once you find that stem from the third principal part by dropping the I, then you add the endings. The perfect tense endings, okay, it is isti, it, imus, istis, erunt. So those are our perfect tense endings. And then the second tense in this perfect system is the pluperfect tense. This is a past action completed before another past action. So it's in the past, but it's before another past action. All right, and again, we find the pluperfect, we find it's based on the perfect stem by dropping the I off our third principal part. And then because we talked about this soon, let me jump to this. We're going to use these. The imperfect of soon is going to be the same as the pluperfect tense endings. Okay, so these are the words for soon. The actual, these are not endings because this is the state of being verbs. Am, is, are, was, were, being. These are actually the words used. But if I have those memorized, then I already know the endings for the pluperfect tense. So once I find the stem by dropping the I off the third principal part, I can then put these endings on. Aram, aras, arat, aramus, aratus, arant. Okay, and then going to the future perfect tense, the third tense in the perfect system. We know we find the stem by dropping the I off the third principal part. And this is going to describe a future action that will be completed prior to another future action. Okay, so I have a note. Let me see. This word, Henley tells us in this that this is a rarely used verb. And it does sound kind of odd. When you translate it into English, you will kind of see it's in the future, but it's going to be before another future action. So it's kind of tricky. So you can kind of see where that would be, that makes sense that it's a rarely used verb. So to help us out here, these, if we jump back to soon, they're going to be identical to the future the future verbs of soon, with the exception of third person plural. That one does change. So I find the stem by dropping the third principal part, the I off of that, and then add ero, eris, erit, eramus, eritus, erant. This one is where it goes from a U in sum, erunt here, it's erant in the future perfect. And we use the helping verbs will have with that. Okay, so let's go to principal parts. So first conjugation principal parts are o, are, avi, atus. And the definition for the principal parts are providing the stems needed to conjugate a verb in all of its tenses. That's why we need to know that, so we can conjugate a verb no matter what tense we see. So o, are, avi, atus. To find the present system, we drop the re off of the second principal part. To find the perfect system, we drop the I to find our stem in those. Okay, second principal parts. Ao, ari, with a macron over the first E, ui, etus. Okay, if I'm going to find a verb in the second conjugation, I'm going to drop the re off the second principal part for the present tense stem, drop the I for the perfect stem. Okay? All right, so let's see. All right, let me switch back to me so I can see. Okay. I was going to jump to... Okay. Let's go to third conjugation. So third conjugation, we don't have... Third conjugation is unique. We don't have a regular pattern for the principal parts. You have to memorize these individual verbs. Now, we do know that the second principal part is like second conjugation. It is ERE with no macron. So that's kind of a pattern that we use. But just remember that third conjugation has to be memorized in that. And let me kind of show you this so you can kind of see it. So you can kind of see they're going to have a vowel and they're still going to use, I know, just to kind of review that real quick. And then you can kind of see up here the principal parts. The ERE that we kind of see, using that, the RE to find the present stem, dropping the I to find the perfect stem. Okay, so that's third conjugation. Let's jump to fourth conjugation. Io, ire, evi, etus. Dropping the RE to find the present stem, dropping the I to find the perfect stem. And again, few follow the regular principal parts on that one. So, okay, so those are our conjugations, what we have kind of covered in conjugations this year in Challenge A. So let's jump to declensions. I'm going to show our Latin declension gender triangle. First declension, there's 5 declensions, we know that. First one is typically feminine. Second's masculine and neuter. Third, masculine, feminine, and neuter. These have to be memorized. Fourth is masculine. We're going to get into some neuter. And then fifth is feminine, generally. Okay, so let's decline. And you're going to do this on your blue book. You're going to decline a noun through its whatever declension it follows. So let's do mensa together. And I'll say I. They can say I for classical and A for ecclesiastical. So we'll use I because that's what Henley is. So mensa, mensai, mensai, mensam, mensa, mensai, mensatum, mensis, mensas, mensis. Okay? Let's do second declension. Deus, dei, deo, deum, deo, dei, deorum, deis, deas, deis. Bellum, second declension neuter. Remember our neuter rule. Nominative and accusative are the same. Again, they are the same, but plural, they are both A. Bellum, belli, below, bellum, below. Bella, bellorum, bellis, bella, bellas. Bellis, sorry. Okay, third declension, masculine and feminine, pater. This is various, or you can just say blank because it changes. So, for pater, pater, patris, patri, patrem, patre, patres, patrum, patribus, patres, patribus. All right, let's go to third declension, neuter. Again, neuter rule on both of those nominative and accusative cases. So for nomen, nomen, nominis, nomini, nomen, nomine, nomina, nominum, nominibus, nomina, nominibus. Okay, fourth declension, portus. Fourth declension, I don't have it up in here, but it's masculine. Typically, there are some neuter that we'll learn later, and Henley, but right now we're just kind of focusing on masculine. Portus, portus with a macron. Portui, portum, portu. Portus with a macron. Portuum, portibus, portus, portibus. And then fifth declension, typically feminine. Our model noun is race, race, rei. Race, rei, rei, rem, ray. Race, rerum, rebus, race, rebus. Now, I don't have it for most nouns, and I should, I guess. We figure out what noun belongs to what declension on that genitive singular. And I have it on our second one. I have it written, and so I should have it written for all of them. But right here, you'll see a noun, des, dei. And then I know that that I ending, that genitive I, these are going to be second declension